So she's the foreigner that shouldn't dare to enter the competition of Miss South Africa. And this one, on the other hand, she is a clear citizen that nobody even cares whether her parents come from France, come from Europe, comes from wherever.
Hey beautiful people, how you are doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How you are doing? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is a very sensitive video and very sensitive conversation between Nigerians and South Africa, and I'm going to get into it. And this story has been going on for a couple of weeks now. I'm just been watching and just like, okay, see how it's going to develop. And so far it has developed to the place where these two beautiful countries in Africa, they are going head to head with each other. And I was holding back for some time. Like, I'm like, you guys know if I have to say something, I'll have to say exactly how I feel. But a couple of you guys have reached out to me like, Destiny, please, can you cover the story? We really want to know your take on this. And here it is. If you don't know what's going on between Nigeria and South Africa, I'm going to break down, like I'm just going to summarize the entire 3 weeks, almost a month that's going down. I'm just going to summarize it all up in this video. Apparently, a Niger oh god, I don't even know where to start. So apparently a lady by the name Chima decided to contest for the Miss South Africa, and she made it to the finalists in SA pageant, Miss South African pageant, and she made it to the finalists. And you know how they do with this pageant where the contestant will come and introduce themselves, and she introduced herself, but her name was kind of off because her name was Nigerian name.
Hi everyone, my name is Chidima Vanessa Ono Adechina, known as Chichi. I am an official Miss South Africa 2024 finalist. Two interesting facts about myself is that I love dogs, but I'm absolutely afraid of them, and I love singing, but I cannot sing to save my life. So come along on this journey with me.
People came for her like, no, she cannot contest, she cannot represent South Africa, she is not South Africa. Mind you guys, just stay with me, okay? I'm breaking it down, just stay with me. And people are like, oh, she's not South African, she's Nigerian, so she cannot contest. But mind you, this young lady at that time said she is half Nigeria, half South Africa. Her mother is South Africa, while her father is Nigeria, and that's why I full name is a Nigerian name, but our mother is South Africa. Do you know, after all that, they still went on to really go investigate, because a lot of people were really like going really hard of how she should not, how she cannot represent South Africa, or she should not even be in the South Africa beauty pageant, even though she was born in South Africa, raised in South Africa. They said she cannot contest in the Miss South Africa beauty pageant. And in this upright of the entire news, they found out that there was some immigration issues with her mom. I think her mom was from Zimbabwe, and they said her mom stole another South African woman's identity. That means that she's not actually South African at all. Mind you, even though she was born and raised in South Africa. And then fast forward to, so they dropped her off out of the competition, saying they were investigating the issue, the immigration issues and all that, all because she chose to go for South Africa, for the South African Miss beauty pageant, and then she dropped out and all that. A couple, I think sometime like a week ago also, the Miss South Africa pageant was held, and a lady won this Miss South African pageant, and guess what? The lady was not looking black. It was India looking lady. Anyway, we all know South Africa is a rainbow nation, okay? And which that just really brought another conversation, saying that, okay, so Chidima was not South African enough to contest for the beauty pageant, but that woman that does not look anything like an African or a black African woman is South African enough to contest and to even win. And this has struck the entire debate and the entire rivalry between Nigeria and South Africa. And I have so much to say about this. If you've been watching my channel for some time, you know I've covered this South Africa, the dynamic in South Africa, the Rainbow Nation and all that. And I have a lot to say about what they did to Chidima, because some of them are standing by it, some of them are calling it out. Like it has just struck a big conversation on both countries. And most of the time, they were saying that they don't want Nigerians in South Africa. And this is not the first time.
In 2023, Melissa Nayimuli, a former Miss South Africa contestant, faced similar backlash because her father is Ugandan and her mother is South African.
I had just made it to the top 16 of Miss South Africa. You know, it was a time of celebration. I was so excited that here I am, I'm the finalist in such a big competition. And literally, as soon after that, I logged onto social media. The first thing I come across is, how dare she enter Miss South Africa? She's not even fully South African, therefore she cannot represent us. One comment that particularly stood out for me, and I do apologize for using this word to those I will offend, and the word is kwere. Foreigners are called kwere in South Africa, and I don't think most people realize how painful that word is because it is offensive, it is disrespectful, it's derogatory.
Chima has said to local media that she feels she's faced black-on-black hate as there are other contestants of European and South Asian descent who haven't received this level of criticism.
This is not the first time there've been xenophobic attack on Nigerians, even in South African store, and a whole lot of things that happen. And I know not all South Africans are this way. That to say, I feel like this is a very important conversation, especially here on this channel where I talk about women and I talk about skin color, I talk about being black, being from the continent, being from Nigeria. I feel like this is a very, very important conversation because how black are you going to be black enough for you to be seen as a black person in this continent? There's a lot of discrimination that goes among us black people and even among us Africans in Africa, which I'm going to share more light on this. But with that all said, guys, let's go check out people's response to this entire story, and then I'll come back and share more of my thoughts.
Start insulting now, because I'm about to go down the road that you don't like. Okay, now that is out of the way. So she's the foreigner that shouldn't dare to enter the competition of Miss South Africa. And this one, on the other hand, she is a clear citizen that nobody even cares whether her parents come from France, come from Europe, comes from wherever. You hate yourselves. You hate yourselves. And you prove that to me every day and to yourself. How come she is a foreigner in South Africa that she didn't even dare to compete for Miss South Africa, irregardless that she was even born here? Have anyone questioned where she comes from? No, be honest. Have anyone questioned where she comes from, where her parents come from? Vukadaki, you hate yourselves. Hi, man.
So let me get this right. South Africans were upset that a black woman that was supposed to win the Miss South Africa is from, her mother is not a South African. She's from another district, but she was born in South Africa. Only to give it to, let me get this straight, only to give it to an Indian-looking woman. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot. South Africans need to get their head examined. Their slavery mentality is overriding their thinking faculty. Mandela will be rolling on his grave wherever he is right now. You guys are a joke. You didn't even give it to your own black South African women that you have in abundance. You pick your white savior to give it to. Hey, you guys need therapy. I'm telling you, you are big, massive therapists.
Let's talk about the drama surrounding the Miss South Africa contestant. So her parents are from Nigeria and Mozambique, and people were going like, she can't represent us. We don't want Nigerians representing us. And then people were rightly pointing out that we have an MP and both of her parents are from Italy. The swimmer who just won gold at the Olympics, her parents are from the Netherlands and the UK. Gayton McKenzie referred to her as the golden girl. But with the Miss South Africa contestant, he said, we truly cannot have Nigerians compete in our Miss South Africa competition. So this is not xenophobia. This is just obviously a case of blatant Afrophobia. It's because she is a black woman. Because there's not been half the uproar about Natasha Mazone or the golden girl over here from the heart of Europe. Now this next part is where things turn very interesting. People are saying that the objection towards the Miss South Africa contestant is based on the experience with Nigerians and Zimbabwe in the country, like taking jobs and the promotion and sale of drugs. But now, if we're going to talk about representation of the negative things that have happened to us as a country, this is literally the hybrid of the two countries who colonized us. Oh, and the demographic who owns more than 70% of our land and businesses. And you want to compare this to the stereotype that Zimbabweans are stealing your jobs and Nigerians are all drug dealers. Okay, but let's say, right, all of that were true. Here's where things get even more strange. The Afrophobes are all the way fuck for the EFF. Now, let me tell you why this is strange. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture is under Gayton McKenzie, who's of the Patriotic Alliance. The Department of Home Affairs is under Leon Schreiber, which is the DA. And until 2 months ago, the ANC was the main ruling governing party of the Republic of South Africa. But the Afrophobes are just for the EFF. Because they have said this double standard is ridiculous. People with white skin who are first generation South Africans do not get this kind of smoke, and we're not going to be part of it. So it's just slightly ironic to me how everything about the situation, whatever side of the spectrum you are on, the EFF and MK have nothing to do with it. They have no say in who is in the Miss South Africa contestant. They have no say on immigration policy. They are not even in the GNU. But somehow this is falling on them just because they stance on it. But nobody has any smoke for the GNU with regards to all of this. It's very interesting to see how this is playing out. So for argument's sake, let's say the stereotypes are not just the stereotypes and they are 100% true. What do you want the 9% party to do for you? What exactly do you want Zuma and Malema to do about this situation? Should you not be approaching the GNU? Should you not be speaking to them, who is the ruling coalition, about this entire situation? I'm just not understanding.
I think that the Chidima fans are focusing way too much on the current crowned Miss South Africa Mia skin color. Like, this is a victory. I see it as a victory, especially as someone living with a disability. Yay! Oftentimes, people living with disabilities aren't portrayed in these beauty content pageants and in media. Like, let's be really honest. And having someone who has a disability win it's kind of like, yes, I love it. It's inclusivity. Look beyond the skin color, babes. This is a yay for the deaf people, the deaf community. It's a yay for people living with disabilities. It encourages people living with disabilities to go beyond, above and beyond what people think they cannot do. She conquered it. She became Miss South Africa. As a person living, as a deaf person, she identifies as a deaf person. It's not an insult, by the way. So I just feel like we should be looking beyond complexion and skin color and that whole colonizer chat. Like, let's look beyond that. Congratulations to Miss South Africa. I hope that she uses this opportunity wisely to focus on empowering people living with disabilities in South Africa, to empower, it's like to advocate for people such as myself living with disabilities. She's deaf, so it's not like seen, but you can kind of hear that she like struggles with her speech. But for someone living like myself with an invisible disability, it's kind of like I want her to advocate for that. So I really hope that she uses this opportunity well and that she doesn't take it for granted. And yeah, this is just a different perspective. Look at it in a different light.
Okay.
Today, you look at a fellow African, you listen to the pronunciation of a fellow African, you listen to the name and the surname of a fellow African, and by that you isolate them. You look at them and say, these are not South Africans, these are Nigerians, this can be Miss South Africa, this can be that. Marfel Yoon can be a player of rugby, South Africa, and get celebrated. No one will dare to question, where does this name of Felyoun come from? Because we've been made to celebrate that which looks down at us.
That's it.
I see on the internet it's buzzing and it's a lot of a hullabaloo about our white Miss South Africa 2024. And I say we are well represented. Mia LaRue is our Miss South Africa 2024 and we accept it. And if you didn't know, South Africa is a rainbow nation since 1994. 27th April 1994, South Africa became a rainbow nation. And she is a well representative of inclusivity and diversity in this new South Africa. We are not going to be gaslit by the rest of the world into hating white South Africans. No, we live well together and we are not going to allow you call us xenophobic and Afrophobic, whatever the case may be, simply because we have seen a loophole of crime happening. And look where it got us. We found out that the mother of Chidima had indeed committed fraud, allegedly, into stealing somebody else's identity. Oh, we're so proud of solving at least one case of an identity theft. You see, we have solved one case of many. And yes, I see you saying that Mandela was kept in Nigeria during the time of apartheid, Thabo Mbeki, blah, blah, blah. Okay, did they sell drugs while they were there? Did they traffic Nigerian girls while they were there? Did Nigerian girls go missing time and again while they were kept there? No. So please, I beg, please don't try and gaslight us. We are not going to hate white South Africans because you say so. No. It's never going to happen. We are well represented. Mia is the best representation of our rainbow nation. Danko.
Those of you who are making videos talking about, oh, South Africa, this is whom you all wanted to represent you guys. This is whom you feel represents South African. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. Like, legitimately, if you have no shame, I'm here to tell you, you should be ashamed of yourself. First of all, she had nothing to do with the whole Chidima Vanessa saga, so I don't know why Mia is being dragged into this. Secondly, I'm going to give props to the organizers of the Miss South Africa pageant for crowning the first differently abled Miss South Africa in history. Mia is the first deaf person in history to be crowned as Miss South Africa. From a very early age, she had hearing problems and she had to get an implant. She perceives sound differently than the rest of us. I was watching a video where the Miss South African organizers were basically explaining that she can't perceive sound the way that we do. So the dance moves that everybody was doing, she basically had to look at the movements of the other contestants for her to be able to do what they were doing. I can't imagine how difficult it was for her. And she was so brave to still go through all of this. Mia is deaf and she speaks differently from the rest of us. But the way that she answered her questions, honestly, she's very smart and she's very intelligent and she's beautiful. I don't think this was a pity win. I am happy for Mia and I honestly think that this is a great win for the deaf community. And props once again to the organizers of the Miss South Africa pageant for being inclusive and not discriminating against her because of her disability. And honestly, the rest of you, be ashamed.
Let's take this Chidima situation and try to break it down in our brains as much as we can. The problem with Chidima is that she didn't represent South Africans in any way. From her name to the way that she looks, down to the culture that she has publicly celebrated. I personally didn't care what Home Affairs said about her citizenship. All I cared about was the fact that nothing about her represented South Africans. When you tell us that we would rather celebrate a Mariki Viljoen over our black sister, then we have the right to tell you that what you're talking about is a racial issue and it has nothing to do with being Miss South Africa. Playing the brother and sister card in the situation doesn't work, because Mariki Filyun is more of my sister when we talk about being a South African as opposed to a black girl that comes from Nigeria or Ghana. In South African context, Mariki is my sister because I recognize her name, I recognize her language, and I recognize her culture. A Michaela Mackenzie is more of my sister when we talk about being a South African as opposed to a Chidima. If your problem is race and colonization, then there's other platforms where you can discuss those things, not this one. If the situation is racial, then yes, I can say Chidima is more of my sister than a Mariki, but this is not the case. So stop trying to guilt trip us and using big words to make us feel guilty or make us feel bad for not wanting to accept a person that doesn't represent us in any way. Stop trying to dibanisa things that don't dibana.
I'll give it to you guys. You guys fought really hard for this, and listen, I'm here for it. Now you guys have an unambiguously black South African queen representing y'all. And what I love about the whole thing is that she looks like most South Africans. Most South Africans look like that. Literally. So yeah, you guys were right. You proved me wrong, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Africans are such hypocrites. Such hypocrites. And that is the one thing that I have picked up throughout this conversation of Chichi, who should not have been at the center of this conversation, because Miss South Africa as an organization should have known that this was going to happen, hence they needed to prepare themselves accordingly. Instead, they have let this young girl fight for herself. But that aside, Africans are hypocrites. And because we are not clear on where it is that we stand, we tend to use the law at our defense when it is applicable, or we tend to use traditions at our defense when it is beneficial. But we will have this conversation this evening. We're going live at 7 p.m. Yeah, let's speak about the hypocrisy of Africans. And when it is that they feel the law is applicable, and when it is that they feel that culture is applicable in a continent with over 3,000 languages.
I'm just going to stop here, but please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation down in the comment section. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So please just be respectful down in the comment section. So this conversation is very interesting because a lot of the time there's so much place to touch about this. But congratulations to the Miss South Africa. She's a beautiful woman, and this conversation is not me trying to discredit her winning or anything. No, it's just us really having this conversation of us as people not liking ourselves or bringing ourselves down, dislike and all that. So this conversation is going to touch so many parts. First up, I want to talk about the general hate that Nigeria gets. Will I say all over the world or all over, like even in Africa? A lot of African countries don't like Nigeria. I'm going to put it out there and I'm going to say it to my full chest. It's something I know, it's something and even out there in the world, you guys know I'm on vacation, and yes, your girl is stuck here, which is a story for another day. And I remember I went for dinner. You guys know I'm solo. I went for this solo dinner, and I got there. The one thing people were saying, the guy by the gate were like, "Oh, you need a reservation." My hotel already made a reservation for me, and they were like, "Okay, okay." But the one thing he was stressing, he asked me first where I was from. I said Nigeria, and that was the thing he was really stressing about. Even the guy who was calling from inside on the phone, like, "Yeah, she's Nigeria, she's Nigeria." And this has really robbed a lot of Nigeria opportunity, chances, things generally from life because of the nationality in Nigeria. And it's a global thing. I walked into a hotel like, "Oh, you're from Nigeria. Oh, scammers." I'm not saying there are not bad people in Nigeria, but what I'm saying is that the stereotype of Nigerians, we saw what happened to Nigerians. This not once, not twice. There's something that has happened over years between South Africans and Nigerians, like Nigerians and South Africans. The South Africans, one tiny thing will just happen, or some things will happen, and the next thing that they are unaliving Nigerians, burning their shops, saying, "Oh, Nigerians are bringing drugs into their country," and all that. Are they saying that without Nigerians in their country, there will be no crime? because they said Nigerians are the crime. But this is where, when we talk about colonization, if you watch my channel for some time, you know that I actually did a lot of the construction of colonization, whitewash, and everything, especially in the continent Africa. And this is something that, as black people, we don't talk about it a lot. I'm talking black people, I mean the globally black people. We don't really talk so much about this, how subconsciously, internally, we've been made to worship the same people that look down on us. Yes, I agree with that statement. And I get it. Okay, Chidima, she's Nigerian, but she was born in South Africa. And I thought, if you're born somewhere and you've lived there for a certain number of years, you automatically becomes a citizen. So what makes Chidima's case different? But just because she's Nigerian, she cannot. Because there's so much anger, there's so much hate that has gone so deep with that Nigerians, you feel like Nigerians should not even have a platform in South Africa. And that's so sad. Because whether you like it, if we go out of the continent, we're being treated like black people. And I know South Africa is a rainbow nation that has different colors and all that. But I want people to ask themselves, how did South Africa become a rainbow nation? Where in present day South Africa, we still have places that black people are not allowed in. To date, 2024. The South African in the house, please correct me if I'm wrong. In 2024, there is still a white community, or all white community in South Africa. And I get they're fighting for their rights, they're fighting for their land, they're fighting for them. But the actual people that came and they took your land, they still have your land, have your wealth. They make it a rainbow nation. But when another African is in the mix, oh, she's an outsider, he's an outsider, he can't be. And it's not just South Africa, it's not just even Nigerian. The way we as people, I would say black people, the way we go at ourselves is sickening. Even in Nigeria, yeah. If you come to Nigeria, I'm not going to remove Nigeria out of the equation, because it is something that has run so deep within ourselves as a black community. If you come to Nigeria, there's tribalism. Now they're doing Afro, what do they call it? I don't know what, oh, the guy said the word Afro something. They're discriminating against being black. The way as black people, we've been so colonized mentally that we don't even see ourselves as black people as one. It's sickening. The fact that you will point a black person out from the situation, you will point it and say, oh, she's not like us, she's not one of us, or they are not one of us. It surprises me. And this is why Africa will still be one of the most exploited continents in the world. I'm an African, I'm a Nigerian. Do you know I still need visa to go to a lot of African countries that are not West African countries? Yes. I need a visa to go to South Africa. I need a visa to go to Namibia. I need a visa to go to Tanzania. I need a visa to go to Mozambique. I need a visa to go to Angola. I need a visa to go to Botswana. I need a visa. I need a visa to go to Egypt. I don't even go to the northern part of Africa. And yet we keep talking about how colonizers come and they keep stealing our natural resources, when we cannot even come together as one. We disagree with the most, I don't want to curse, the most dumb things. We use the most dumb things to separate ourselves. And we ask why Africa is the most resourceful country, continent in the world with the most resource, that other Western world, they come to tap our resource with no repercussion, because we cannot stand as one. We refuse to move as one. We always want the handouts, the leftovers. Why? Why? We are so divided. Every country has their flaws. Every country, every black community, every black subgroup have their flaws. But rather than on us to look at the positive that we have as one, no, we'll separate ourselves. That's what I have to say. There's a lot of hate that goes on among Africans, among black people, and we need to start working on it, or else we'll continue being the bottom of the barrel. I'm saying what I'm saying. Yes, I said it. Whether we want to accept it, we don't want to accept it, or we want to, in the hierarchy of society, the white man, white woman, Asian, they go like that. It's black people here. Then you have black men, then black women. So when you see a fellow black person and you feel some type of repulse, ask yourself why. When you see a black person, you feel the need to say, they are not like us, she's not like us, he's not like, ask yourself why. Why do you feel that way? Go internally and question yourself. The country I'm at on vacation, I remember being in some places. You guys know I went to that fancy beach, that fancy beach house, and all the black women I was seeing there were nannies. All the black women I saw there were nannies, and the non-black women that were there that came with the nanny, they were looking at me weird because I was all by myself. A black woman, how can you afford this? I got that look, I got that stare. So when we start pointing, the world is already looking down at us, pointing finger down at us, and yes, we want to do it to ourselves. Ciao. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know what you think about this conversation, this amazing conversation, down in the comment section. But as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a respectful way. So go ahead, feel free, share your thoughts. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, smash the like button, because this helps YouTube to push out my content for more people to see, and that will be you supporting this channel and this girl here. So go on and do that. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.